Oh, hello everyone, and welcome back to the MyFootballWriter YouTube channel. And we're back with a live match reaction for Norwich City, absolutely tonking the Tigers at Carrow Road. It ended Norwich City 4, as Jack puts up all four of those fingers. Hull City 0. It was a brilliant, gorgeous Norfolk day, accompanied with some gorgeous, free-flowing football. Goals from Marcelino Nunez, Borja Sainz, Kai Gordon, and Josh Sargent. Norwich were running rampant at Carrow Road. They continue their unbeaten run at home. It's extended yet another game, almost a year since they last lost at Carrow Road. But I'm Freddie Humphrey Wakefield. I am joined by Jack Wright, also known as NCFC Payne on Twitter. You'll be familiar with his tweets, maybe not so familiar with the face. And the man sat there in a gorgeous buttoned up shirt. But Jack, first things first, how are you? I assume you watched the game. I'd like to think so. And also a warm welcome to Joe. Very good to have you with us, mate. He's always in the comments section. Good to see you on the live stream as well. And if anyone wants to share any thoughts they had on the game, don't feel afraid to put it in the comments. We'll read them out over the next hour or so, however long we can cope. I'm currently a bit bunged up. I'm not feeling too great. I'm under the weather. But Jack, what about yourself? Norwich, absolutely brilliant today. But how are you just in general, especially as today is it's World Mental Health Day. So how are you doing?
Yeah, all good. It's one of those rare days where everything pretty much went to plan. A stonking home win. The under-18s won as well. Emmanuel Adebayoga got a goal for. Now it's either Dundee or Dundee United. I am not going to commit to one of them because I don't want Scottish football fans to come at me. One of those two. There was another result in the Premier League. We're obviously not contractually obliged to talk about it, but I am forever blowing bubbles. Pretty bubbles in. Enough of that. Enough of that. No, we will close the book on that and talk about a team that actually won and didn't concede for. They actually didn't concede any. We got a half clean sheet for George Long. If this isn't if that isn't the title of the video, if that isn't the headline, if that isn't what everyone is ranting and raving about, we've obviously got a lot to dissect. But let's, give respect on his name where it's deserved. George Long, you've got half clean sheet in the Championship. Well done, boy. Well done.
His first half clean sheet in a Norwich shirt in a competitive game. So if that doesn't show how good today was, then I don't know what else to say. Of course, sorry, there's going to be a lot of coughing and sneezing on my behalf, but that just shows how good it was today. The fact that the whole city couldn't even trouble George Long, that's how good we were. That's just how well it went in another half-12 kickoff. Another point from our mate Joe here. Again, very good to have you with us. I was there. I thought we dominated it. What a lovely goal from Sainz. And I got my score right. Well, you know what? We'll give it hats off to him. We'll give him a pat on the back. We'll give you a brownie point for that one. And it's very good to hear you were there. And it was a lovely goal by Sainz, wasn't it? Just brought it down elegantly, dinked it over Panda in between the sticks. And if anything, he resembled a Panda because he barely moved all game and he couldn't stop anything from going past him. But Norwich, again, just brilliant. And George Long getting a half clean sheet. Unfortunately, I haven't titled the video George Long half clean sheet. I've gone with a very easy pun to make of formidable afternoon at the CARRA, which, of course, 4 goals. Norwich were formidable in the game. So, it's just a play on words. It's quite smart. But just, of course, Angus Gunn, it was reported by the journalist at the game, more specifically Paddy Davitt, that looked to be a rib injury for Angus Gunn. He felt it going up for a 50-50 ball in the air. He got a little bit of a knock, but ended up coming off at half-time. Looked a little bit uncomfortable when he was booting the ball long and kicking it off of the ground. But with a 2-week international break now, arguably couldn't have come at a better time for our best goalkeeper to get a knock, because he'll probably be back for the next game against Stoke.
Yeah, that will be the Palach derby up at the Potteries. But But yeah, another international break. We were talking about the eve of the last international break, whether it's come at the right time. That previous one, I mean, this international break, it's quite unfortunate. It's come at a point where um, we're really gaining momentum. Joe, you obviously spoke about your score prediction. I predicted 2-0. Um, I thought that was quite bold by all accounts. I was being quite conservative. Um, my assessment before the game, sort of going into the results that we had, which was, forgive me if I've got this wrong, but was it 3 wins, 3 draws, 2 losses? Was that the, or was
I
it?
believe I'd say so. I believe that's right. I think
I
you're,
think
you're
so.
correct.
Yeah. So it for me, it was kind of like it's kind of a turning point in the season, weirdly, early doors, because we lose that game and it becomes 3 wins, 3 draws, 3 losses, and quite kind of an average, middle of the road start to the campaign with kind of room to improve. We win and it becomes 4 wins, 3 draws, 2 losses. All of a sudden, you're looking at a lopsided, much more, improved quality team and much more improved quality performances, and obviously points that replicate that. I don't. Obviously, the table at this point shouldn't really check it, but I think we're in 6th last time I checked. Having
I
already played, I think we're 6th.
Yeah.
I might be.
Well, yeah,
I
no,
might be wrong.
we're up there at the very least. We're up there already,
Yeah.
and you want to be there early on. Of course, when you win a game, you can fly up maybe 5 or 6 positions up the table based on results elsewhere. So it's important, of course, to get wins under our belt, and of course, well, even do it at home against a side who, albeit did start off really poorly in the Championship in Hull, but won their last 3 games before today, albeit not against great opposition. They beat Stoke, QPR, and Cardiff. Called Cardiff, especially, who have been just dire so far in the Championship. So Hull haven't exactly beaten anyone of high note, and they've lost against teams that are above them and arguably better than them. And Norwich just, at times, it just looks so easy. Genuinely should have scored at least 6. There was, of course, Sargent's missed penalty, which hit the post, which is annoying because his last 2 penalties, although he scored the one against Leeds, wasn't very convincing. But has scored, missed the penalty today, and then you had Sainz and Nunez, who within the first 15 minutes should have had a goal each. Sainz went to dink the goalkeeper, but Pandur got a touch to it when he should have just looked to slot it either corner. Then you had Nunez, who was played to 1-on-1, just went a little bit too wide and hit it straight at the goalkeeper. But Norwich honestly tore Hull apart, although the statistics don't really suggest that, and it was quite an even game in terms of shots and shots on target. But Norwich with 9 shots on target and could have easily have scored 6 or 7 of them. But if anything, I think that's a credit as to how well this team is doing at the minute and how they are transforming under Johannes Hoff-Torp. The fact that we've won 4-0 and it's about 8 hours after full time, and here I am still going, but weren't all that clinical overall. It's amazing to even say that. We've just won 4-0 with probably the most convincing performance we've put out all season. And even Johannes Hoff-Torp himself was saying there is an obligation to be even better in the next game. It's just that to have that mindset is incredible, is it not? Because you look at what we've been subjected to over the last few years. Whoever would have dreamt of us winning 4-0 and still going, yeah, but it could have been even more, and it should have been.
We're talking about a manager who is obviously very aware of where this team is and obviously striving for as close to perfection as possible. This is in contrast to a manager who we had a few years ago who openly came out into the press and thought saying that 1-0 was my favorite result in the world would be a good PR move. We take the mick out of, our best mate Dean, but there's a lot to be said about outward rhetoric and kind of mood building within fans and kind of relationship building. And I think Dean Smith very much failed in that. And I think I've said it before. What Torp is doing well at the moment is he's downplaying all this fantastic football, and he's not saying anything outlandish and weird. The moment he starts saying things that are outlandish and weird are the moments when people, just kind of, you look at him and analyze him. I think kind of obviously credit due to his style of play and what his coaching staff are achieving with this team, but I'm glad that the focus isn't on him. The cameras aren't all on him. It's not all about Torrop's Norwich. It's about the performances that we are putting in. And you mentioned about Hull and their kind of poor performances. I think, unfortunately, we're going to have to give credit to our dear friend Will, who really called it. I don't know if he's on the scouting department or has got a sports science degree, but he called it. He must have gone around to Johannes's house and just said, "Oi, look at this video. I've got an idea for you." Don't you know? Pump it up, Johannes, hot her up. We're singing it. We're not going to play the music, so we're not getting copyrighted. We need all the money that we can. On that note, if you would like to sponsor the MyFootballWriter YouTube channel, please do, so that you can have more fantastic, lovely, brilliant content. The Big Strawberry near Beccles, if you're listening, please sponsor us. I love you. I know you must be closed now because it's getting cold. Where was I? I've completely been sidetracked by the Big Strawberry again.
About Will getting it right.
William, yes, William. I'm sure he might be watching. I don't know if he is. He might be in bed or having pudding, knowing him.
No, not on a Saturday. There's only one place he is, and that's Mantra. So he's only ever. He's not going to be watching us. He's certainly not. He's in Iceni with a strawberry woo-woo in one hand and a daiquiri in the other, just sinking them down. Of course, well, you might have seen him on Sky Sports Twitter in the banana outfit when we played Derby. Yeah. I wonder if he was wearing something else tonight, but we'll wait and see. No, there's only one place he's going to be, and that's Prince of Wales Road, just sinking them back. He'll be a very happy boy in nightclubs tonight, I'm sure of it.
Yeah, no, if you're en route to Prince of Wales and you find Will tonight, give him a big hug because he's the architect for this fantastic win. But just acres of space in attacking positions, especially on the counter-attack. I mean, especially for Cade Gordon's goal. I'm sure we'll go through each of the goals in order. I'm skipping ahead briefly just to Cade Gordon's one. Just the amount of time that Sainz had to pick a pass to Nunez, who then had so much time to pick a pass to Sargent, who then had so much time to sort of dither with the ball and then let the Hull defenders do whatever they did with it. They really played in to Norwich's hands, and you compare it with the Leeds match midweek where they were, at times sitting very deep, very compact, not allowing any space at all, not allowing anyone in behind. It was very refreshing to have a team that basically was just like, oh, all right, then come on, have an attack at us. It was perfect Hoffball fodder. I mean, Hull, they had decent individual players. Zambrano looked quite good. I think Miller looked quite good at times. But again, defensively, just quite all over the place. And you mentioned about Pandur in goal. He doesn't look wholly convincing. I have to say, bless him. I initially thought he'd got a touch on the penalty, and then I saw that it hit the base of the post. So no credit to you at all, Mr. Panda. Sorry. But yeah, I don't really know kind of what their tactic was, whether it was to just sort of pile in and kind of forget defending at all. But yeah, just really played into our hands.
No, big time, big time, and that was evident in, well, as you say, we'll probably go through all of the goals, but especially, well, a lot of them were due to just Hull giving us an unbelievable amount of room. The two chances before we even went a goal up for Sainz and Nunez, just long lofted balls over the top, and they're onside with about 20 yards of space. Still managed to miss, which really annoys me. But in hindsight, it doesn't matter. They both scored anyway. And Nunez, I mean, how do you miss a chance like that, 1-on-1, all the time in the world? But then again, he had a lot of time on the edge of the Hull penalty area. And there was a gorgeous little bit of build-up beforehand, the long diagonal ball in search of Sainz, who just did that little trademark jump up in the air, like karate kick almost, just brought that down, darted towards the edge of the box. No one dared touch him or lay a finger on him, let alone a boot. Passed it off to Nunez, who then just he must have been watching the podcast a couple of weeks ago. It was another absolute beauty. You said you wanted long range goals 2 weeks ago. We've had a few now. You said it against Watford. 2 weeks ago now, and we've had almost one in every single match. And Nunez just spanked it in the top left corner. No chance for Panda. And it was rather good. It was another Nunez cracker. It was lovely. But as you just caressed it into that top left corner, keeper didn't stand a chance. Second goal. Now really I've got to try and remember. It was a full-time whistle a long time ago. I've really got to try and delve deep into my memory now. So the second goal, be a help to
remember. Out wide to Signs.
There we go. Sargent scored.
Yeah. Bang into Sargent, who might have been offside. I don't know. We're paying the officials very well. We're not, by the way. We're not. Don't quote that. We're definitely not.
They're coming out of our payroll. That's what we're the ones, but not the club. We're paying. We're making sure we are not paying them.
Just remember, don't cross any lines. Don't cross any lines.
No, I must be very careful with that. No, I can't get too ahead of myself, and I really can't. No, I think the line was crossed a long time ago, and maybe we should just get over it now and move on. And because there's no worry now. Was Sargent offside? Probably not. Are Hull going to be a little bit angry about it? Probably, and it's a bit of a theme with Hull City. I don't want to try and send shots at anyone. I want to try and stay a bit level, because otherwise I ruin a bit of integrity for everyone involved with this channel. But it just seems that when Norwich play Hull, someone ends up getting really upset. I mean, it happened twice last season. Of course, the Adam Eder goal at Carrow Road on the opening day. The ball apparently crossed the line, but it had gone out for a goal kick. But we got a corner, and hey-ho, we scored. And then when we played them at the KCOM, we won again. And apparently, Angus Gunn should have been sent off for smashing into someone, and then Dimi Yanulis elbowed someone in the face. That was amazing, actually. He didn't get a red card. But it just seems whenever we play Hull, someone ends up getting just a smidgen bit cross and a little bit upset.
And I remember there was a game, it must have been a couple of seasons ago, when it was Carrow Road, Hull took the lead, and I think Ryan Woods went to shush Carrow Road. They scored after about 10 minutes, and I think we won 3-1 in the end. And that was just... that was a great evening. That was fantastic. Don't shush people after 10 minutes. Come on. Do we even have a rivalry with Ryan Woods? Play for Shrewsbury and Brentford? So I don't mean to use the term that everyone chants at when substitutes come on, but who the internet are you? So yes, no, we got to the second goal, which was a great goal, and it was definitely onside. And we went in at half time at 2-0. Angus Gunn was in goal, and everything was fine, and everything was great, and the world was wonderful. And then I saw that Angus Gunn come off George Long, and I wanted to just cry.
Yeah, me too.
Do
No.
we not all remember that game against Leeds last season when did Long start that game, or was
Nope. He was subbed on at half time.
Yeah. No, I thought that was the case, and it gave me kind of Vietnam flashbacks. Yeah, we obviously then get the penalty, which was, the most clear-cut handball
Yeah.
I've ever seen. Should have got handball in the home game against Hull last season. Could ignore that because it's not relevant. Did you see that the ball moved slightly?
Oh, yeah, but it's a free shot on goal. We can't use this. The ball moved. The ball moved when Melier didn't catch it last night. He still should have caught it. So it's nonsense. It doesn't matter. It should just be all right. 12 yards out. Just score. Just do it. Just put it in the net. But it didn't matter anyway because he'd already scored. And then even though it looked as if at times, I thought personally in the second half, thought Norwich were really shaky for the first sort of 20 minutes of the second half. It did look very nervy before we eventually got in cruise control again. But Hull hit the crossbar with a free kick. It even had the ball in the back of the net with, again, a very blatant handball. I am amazed Yal Pedro, no, not that one. I'm amazed that he even claimed that he hadn't handballed it. He flung in there with his arm out and he hooked it in with his bicep. Of course it's a handball. And we got a message. Cryptid Dino's back in the live streams. He's a regular on these ones. Gordon scored. Ipswich cried. Norwich City are effing dynamite. That's brilliant. That's brilliant. You know what? I might keep that up there for a little. No, don't book him. Please, come on. I think you should reconsider.
Sorry, I've got to take his name. Sorry.
No, you can't book him for talking about those lot in blue and white. That was good. I like that. No, come on. No, I think the PGMOL will be having a word with you in the morning about that one. That's unfair. But
don't cry woke nonsense. This is these are the rules of the game. I don't make the rules, except I do. But no, I agree. Ipswich. No, I said them. Oh no.
Yellow for yourself. To be fair, I said it as well. We've all been booked. The referee's lost the game now. He's lost pure control. But anyway, that neatly actually brings us on to the third goal for Norwich. Gordon did score on his 20th birthday as well. So very, very happy one for him. Albeit he got a big helping hand from Charlie Hughes, who did join in the summer from Wigan Athletic. Maybe he should have stayed on the bench with that one. He gave it away in his own area. He had all the time in the world, actually, to just hook the ball away, tried to play it out from the back, and then we were relentless in the press in their own area, fell to Gordon after a nice, again, really lovely build-up play. Sainz pinged it across to Nunez, played it infield for Sargent in the 18-yard box. Should have maybe taken it first time, dilly-dallied a little bit, lost possession. Charlie Hughes just went, you know what, lads, have the chance back, fell to Gordon. Lucky finish, I'd argue, but it doesn't matter how they go in. He just kissed it in off the inside of the post and he reeled off in joyous celebration. I'm pretty sure he has scored before in professional football. Do correct me if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure he has, but he went off there like he just scored a 90th minute winner. Now, I don't really want to talk about other Norwich fan channels, but of course, Chris Reeve of Talk Norwich City, he talks about making passion great again. Gordon did do exactly that. He was full of just energy. He was so happy to score. Great to see from a lone player, and hopefully the first of many for him, but I don't want to fall in love with two lone players in a season. It feels a little bit illegal, but Norwich got the third. And another message from our mate, Cryptid Dino here. What a performance. Only thing is that it should have been 5. We've already covered that. I thought it should have been 6 or maybe even 7. But hey-ho, we scored 4, got a clean sheet, and who cares? We're flying. We're rising up the table. EIO and all that nonsense. No, I'll stay reserved on that one just for now. But then you move on to the fourth goal. the pick of the bunch from the man in form, Borja Sainz, 5 goals in his last 4 games. That one was gorgeous. Another, Callum Doyle, what a player again, by the way, got that ball, but 20 odd yards from his own goal, diagonal ping to Sainz, 20 yards from the whole goal. Pandas rushed off his line. No idea why, because he was never going to get to it. Sainz again, that little karate kick touch, brought it down. Elegant dip over the goalkeeper. And there's one of the Sky... Sorry, there's my cough's back. But as one of the Sky Sports Soccer Saturday pundits said, do you want some salt with that chip? It was right over the keeper, into the back of the net. He ran off, little jump in the air in celebration. Norwich were 4-0 up and just cruised, continued to cruise in that game, made it easy for themselves. And even though there was a shaky period, Jack, we were in defence, as you already alluded to, so strong. That back four of Fisher, Duffy, Doyle, Cordoba, that back four has arguably picked itself for the rest of the season. We've played 9 games and Norwich have already maybe found their best back four, and they still have a few options that they could look to bring in other games. But that back four, apart from Duffy, so young, but just looks years beyond the age of them. They look as if they've been playing top-level football for years, when a player like Callum Fisher has been a professional for a season and a quarter. They're absurd, that back four, over the last few games. They've been so good, all individually and as a cohesive unit.
I mean, it's just a real joy to actually see young defenders, coming through and performing. Like, Cordoba, obviously. I think the last time that we had a good, promising young, centre back was probably Ben Godfrey. It's been that long since we've had, a youth defender that's really broken into the team and looked really promising. Obviously, everyone said the sort of play today was Barcelona-esque. I mean, we've got the Scottish Busquets in Kenny. Nunez was pulling all kinds of Xavi stuff out. The club on their tweet said that Cade Gordon's finish was very messy. Do you see what
that's clutching at straws. That's a little bit clutching at straws, because it was luck. It had a lot of luck to it.
Don't care. Class. I'm not going to compare Kellen Fisher to Danny Alves, because maybe not. But no, Kellen, how's your beard getting on, mate? Because you're doing well, kid. I'm real proud of you, and I'm glad you're taking our advice. But yeah, he all of a sudden in these last few games has just become a first team regular. I didn't see it coming personally. Obviously, Stacey last season was relatively consistent, but yeah, again, Torup has a headache in terms of his selection. I think he knows now who his first choice right back is. And you say, 9 games in, we know what our back four is. I always said at the start of the season that the big worry is, does Torup know his best 11? There's a star man playing down the right. His name is Kellen Fisher, and he's quite good.
Little PG version from our mate Sam's chart. Get it ringing round the Barclay. Get it going at the Bet365 in a couple of weeks. But anyway, Jack, I'll let you continue about our star man, as Sam has just put it.
Yeah, no, just in terms of the preferred 11, it seems like we know what our best starting lineup is, and I think it's refreshing that we now basically know who should start week in, week out. I don't want to bring a downer on a fantastic 4-0 win. I think we do need to address the fact that Cernat's probably, again, has had a confusingly ineffective game at right wing. But Kay Gordon has come off the bench and he's instantly scored. So that really, really does put the cat amongst the pigeons. Do we see Kay Gordon starting at the Stoke 365 Pottery Britannia on the 19th of October? Very likely. Very likely. I think as a lone player, as a young player wanting to force your way into the team, you know, he's done more than Cernats has done in, you know, a few minutes of a substitute appearance than Cernats has done in all of his starts. It begs the question of whether it is what we feared all along, which is a striker playing on the wing. Which, as I've alluded to before, Josh Sargent did it and he wasn't very good. Maybe this is the moment where we just start Gordon and see how he does. I think he really, you know, showed a lot of pace, a lot of attacking intent, and yeah, looked dangerous. Obviously, you know, you've paid a lot of money for Cernats and you're not going to drop him instantly. But again, it's a good selection headache. But yeah, I think generally speaking, the rest of the team, Nunez was absolutely fantastic. Obviously, like you said earlier, scored a stonker. We love stonkers, and I called it. I said he was one of the people in the team that could, of course, score stonkers. Again, credit for me. Marcelino, that was lovely wobbly or whatever you call it.
Jubbly, lovely jubbly.
Lovely jubbly, that's the one. It's funny because it's from English
Fools and
TV.
Horses.
Only Fools and Horses, that's the one. I've never watched it.
No, neither have
I. I look like an old man and I should watch Only Fools, but I never have. But yeah, no, fantastic performances. Or obviously, are we going to gush about signs a little bit?
Of course we are. Of course we have to gush about signs. He's our thumbnail nearly every week. We have to gush about him because he's been superb. He's already matched his goals and assists tally of last season. He scored 8 goals and got 2 assists. 2 assists, both coming in this game. Last season, I want to say it was 38 championship games, and he got 8 goals, 2 assists. This season, 11 games, all competitions, 8 goals, 2 assists. That is absurd. That is absolutely absurd. He has started the season in unbelievable form. And I've got a few more comments just to touch on here. Going back to our mate Joe, of course, a pleasure to have you with us. He's saying he's enjoyed the day, Norwich winning, and he's got WWE bad blood to look forward to. You know, I may go and watch that myself. I do like WWE. It's good fun. Hopefully we can see. I do like watching people fake fight. But no, it's good fun. It's very good fun. And we got another message from Sam going back to your point about Ante Cernats, saying we may see a different side to him come Christmas. Now, you see, for me, with Cernats, it's like what you've just said there, Jack, and I said it with Will during the week. I just don't think he's what people are hoping for. I think he has been underwhelming, but I don't think the price tag helps him. I think that's what really, for me, is what's making this maybe a little bit worse and maybe sort of somewhat jumping on a bandwagon on a player who, because in all fairness, everyone today was brilliant. That they were really good. And he's, again, maybe that little bit of an odd one out who just hasn't looked that promising. But as you already alluded to, we spent £8.5 million on him, and he is arguably being shoehorned to play as a right winger when he is naturally a striker. And when Sargent is fit and now scoring goals again with 2 in his last 2, you are not going to start over him unless we play in a cup game. There is no way Cernats is going to play in his natural position. But here we go. Here's another message from Sam. Very fair point to raise with exactly what I'm saying. Price tags always come with the pressure. Just look at the Wolf. Yeah, very hard to disagree. He's even giving it a little laughing emoji and a hiding of the eyes. Yeah, it does have a little bit of a feel about Ricky Van Wolfswinkel, except at least he scored on his debut. Cernats didn't, but who knows? Hopefully, we go back to this point from Sam here, and we do see a different side to him come Christmas. I do hope we do, because you want a player with a big price tag, or anyone who joins your club, you want them to do well and kick on. And you look at how Norwich have got all their attackers just free flowing. You've got Nunez being a bit further forward, who now Gabriel Sara's not in the team. He's got a lot more room to just run the show and put in great performances every week. Sainz has just been unbelievable these last few weeks, especially after the Swansea game, where he just could not hit a barn door to save his life. Sargent, we always know, great striker at this level. And I do think I agree with you, Jack, about your point of, I think Kai Gordon should start because he's on loan. The parent club will want him to play. He himself wants to prove himself that he can do it in the Championship and maybe do really well and think, right, I'm going to crack on in the Premier League. I'm going to break into this Liverpool team. I'm going to get more minutes. And I want to be the next right winger. If Mohamed Salah goes, I want to be that man. I don't want the club to buy anyone else. I want to be the next Mo Salah, which, of course, that may be his mindset. That may not. I might be being completely ridiculous. But I do think Gordon should start. He scored today off the bench and looked very sharp. He looked aggressive in his pressing, which is exactly what Torup wants, rather. And with the fact Sienats has been largely ineffective in the same position, I just think it's a no-brainer. But Gordon will now go away and play for the England youth team in the national break, and we'll wait and see how he does. Knowing our luck, he'll probably do his ACL and we'll have to cut the loan short, and then we'll be stuck with Sienats. But we signed Emiliano Marcondes, and rather annoyingly, I couldn't do a signing video because when I went to do it, the club, within 5 minutes of me being sat down, went, "Oh, we've signed him now." And then next thing I know, it was bedtime, and I was ready. I was away, sleeping away, happily waiting for game day. But Emiliano, I can't even get the words out. Emiliano Marcondes is a Norwich City player, joined on a free, was most recently at Hibernian on loan, was also at Bournemouth, where he even got promoted with them to the Premier League. He got promoted with Brentford to the Premier League, scored in the playoff final for Brentford as well. Worked with Johannes Torup on loan at Norgeland, started his career at Norgeland before Torup was a manager, but a player who he knows well and played for about 10, 15 minutes and arguably could have even scored, had a header from close range. He ended up putting a bit wide. He just shanked it a little bit. But is that a signing you maybe like the look of? I know our mate Will isn't very happy about it. He voiced those opinions in our Nodge Spotlight video in midweek. But what do you make of that, Jack, now that Marcondes is a Norwich player, a year-long contract, and the option to extend it if it goes well? What do you make of that signing? It really is for a bit more rotation, but arguably quite a well-proven Championship player who's got something about him.
Emi Marcondes from Denmark. Doesn't have the same ring to it at all. Completely the wrong signing, in my opinion. I'm going to side with my dear friend Will, and we should just sign a striker. He came for. Oh, hang on, I'm going frosty.
No, you're all right now. You're good. You're all right.
Yay! Okay, forgive my Wi-Fi. Yeah, he came on for Sargent, I think, which he's not an out-and-out striker. He's a kind of number 10, kind of number 6, kind of wherever he wants to play in the midfield. I don't get it. Like, we've got Gordon, we've got Schwarto, we've got Cernat. I'm sure there are wingers in the academy. Forsyth as well. Obviously started against Blackburn and was presumably going to be part of the first team picture, but is now sort of not. I think we were good. I think, there was a pathway for any kind of young attacking midfielders in the team, and now that's kind of just been a little bit squandered. I always point out the fact that we don't have a backup striker on the bench, so now we've just got another backup midfielder on the bench. Maybe there just weren't any good strikers in the free agents. That's entirely logical. Maybe there were just loads of strikers that we didn't want to sign, that didn't match what we wanted. Maybe we couldn't afford Paul Mullen's release clause. I don't know. I won't stop banging this drum, Frederick. I won't stop it.
No, please stop. Please.
I will keep banging this drum. But it kind of makes sense that Torup has brought in one of his mates, someone who's played in Denmark, someone who's played in England and done very well. It fits in that regard, but it to me kind of, I just don't think it was the right position. I don't think it was the right move at all. I might be completely wrong, and he might be our new Emmy to fall in love with. We've actually properly got him, so we don't have to worry about loans or anything. So he's actually and a number 11, a very sensible shirt number. Obviously, I'm part of the shirt number police. I'm coming to arrest you, Ben Cresceni. How dare you take the number 40? I don't care. I'm still angry. Number 14. That's reserved for Wes Houlihan.
No, it should be. It should be. And then you have
Cantwell, obviously. No, obviously we had a lot of players leave over the summer. We obviously got a lot of injuries. Speaking of players who left over the summer, there was a guy, can't remember his name. He not Jonathan Rowe, the other one.
That one, the Brazilian one.
No, not the Brazilian one. The one that played for, I think it was Portsmouth last season.
Oh yeah, the young one. Yeah, the young one.
I think he's young.
Yeah, he wore number 47 to work with his initials or something to make it sound like a weapon. Yeah, no, his name is really escaping me, and that's a real shame. I think he went to Hull.
Did he?
I think he did. Yeah, I think he went for pretty good money. I think, in a way, I'm pretty sure we had their pants down for the money they paid. No, he came on, but I can't remember his name. And he almost got an assist, but their striker bicepped it in the net. No, sorry, that's escaping. Let's just move on. He's evidently not that important. We can't remember his name, so we'll move on. Oh, we've got a message here. Another message. Hello, Freddie. It's George from the group. Good to have you here, George. Oh, that's his name. Abu Kamara. Thank you, George. Do I think he has regrets? Of course he does. The guy stinks out the gaff. No, honestly. Came on today. Didn't do anything. There was a couple of chants thrown his way, which there was some people didn't think they were very nice, and they were a little bit harsh on him. I think my favourite was when Gordon scored, and it was it could have been you, and it really could have been after how he played a little bit. But yeah, no, old Sam, what another great point! Didn't he come on from the bench because he wasn't happy at Norwich for being on the bench? Anyone who's watching this today are brilliant. These lot are brilliant in our comment. These lot are fantastic. They're reminding us of everything. No, he did. Yeah. He was unhappy sitting on the bench, so he went off, forced his way out, wanted a transfer request. Now he sits on a bench for a worse team. He comes back to Carrow Road, 4-0. How do you like them apples, Abu? How do you like them? Good fun. Yellows.
Listen, right. Obviously, we must be respectful to all of our former players, and we must, not take it too far. People have obviously said, there was some very nasty chant. I think it was just Abu, what's the score? Abu, what's the score? To be honest, and there was a lot of talk in the press. I don't know why the press got so interested in it. It was quite irrelevant and boring, in my opinion, about whether he would get a good reception or not. Of course, he wasn't going to get a good reception. He forced his way out of the club after we all thought that, including me, that he'd be our player of the season. You don't just come back and get a clap. I'm afraid that is part and parcel of the game of being a professional footballer, is that you just have to take the abuse that you get. And whether he, sits there and thinks, oh God, this beautiful style of football, I could be on the end of all of these, lovely crosses and be creating chances and linking up with our sexy Spaniard. But yeah, I mean, clearly, early doors, Torup didn't think that much of him. Fair enough if he went to a bigger club with more ambition, but Hull City. Now, we must respect our opposition team as well. Or go back to Pompey. Yeah. Are Hull a bigger team? No, Hull aren't a bigger team than us. They've probably got deeper pockets than us. That doesn't mean you're bigger. It just means that, you're richer. That doesn't equal anything. We're probably a bigger team than Manchester City. We're not. They've won too many trophies recently. If you would have come back to me 10, 15, 17 years ago, then we were a bigger team than Man City. Anyway, don't quote me on that. Yeah, fair enough if he went to a bigger club with more ambition. I guess maybe he just thought it was a lesser team, therefore he would have had a better chance of getting into the starting 11. I know. Oh, we've got another comment. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm not going to put
Oh,
that
yeah.
up.
No.
No, I won't put that up because we don't say those words on this channel.
No.
Basically, so I'll reword it and I won't put it up because I don't want to get in trouble. It says, I know the Snake Pit was saying, Abu, you're a insert four-letter word that isn't a very nice one. And he nearly started crying until his teammate grabbed him. Well, of course, I wasn't there, so I can't go off of that. But yeah,
have you ever seen the Snake Pit, Abu? Come on, they're full of divorcees. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, no, but no, it is a weird one with Kamara. Of course, as you said already, Jack, you alluded to it. He was never going to get a kind reception, so it is weird that there's this narrative out that Norwich fans are just hateful towards one of their own youth players, but a player who barely played for Norwich. He didn't exactly take many opportunities by the scruff of the neck. Did score in the Carabao Cup against Stevenage, which was nice, but he's not done anything else. But here's another message from George. We can show this one. Front row seat was loving giving abuse. Well, as we already said, it's the Snake Pit. We already know what some people make of it and the people that are in it, but we won't repeat the words of the former sporting director, and we certainly won't share his opinions on a lot of things because he's not a very nice bloke and he's become a difficult man to like. But enough about the mountain climbing man. We'll go back to how Norwich are climbing up the championship table and overcoming the mountain of mediocrity. And they're getting there, as Jack said, either 6th or 7th in the league. I want to say it's 7th, but we're around the playoff picture. Come the end of the season, Jack, I would assume you would like that. And arguably, with what we've seen, 10 points from the last 15, very annoying it's now the international break, but Norwich could probably get in there and maybe look quite comfortable when they do, if we are to sort of rise up the table again over the next few weeks. I think automatic promotion is maybe stepping over the line a little bit, but I do think with what we've seen, should Norwich be a comfortable top 6 team now? Of course, there's so much more football to be played. There's 37 championship games, but we're slowly beginning to see the cogs in the machine turn, and the system is becoming very clear. The patterns of play are becoming evident, which is what Torup and Napa wanted. And now that we're seeing it, Norwich look almost unstoppable at times.
I think a 4-0 win at home against Hull is amazing. The results that I am most interested in are the 1-1 draw against Leeds, which is how we proved that we can combat a much more technically gifted, higher value, better team than us. We didn't get completely annihilated, but we didn't dominate them. We matched them, which was impressive, and it was impressive to see the other side of Hoffball. The other result that is more impressive is Derby, is to confidently win away from home. And we speak about the Carrow Road form. it's now become a foregone conclusion that we're going to turn up and perform well. What we now need to do is what we've done in those two games: perform and get results against bigger teams and play well away from home. Because then you succeed in all three of those categories. What else is there? That's pretty much everything, covered up. Obviously, bigger teams away from home, ha ha ha. Which obviously in the playoffs we learned that we're not very good at that. We still need to go to Bramall Lane. We still need to go to Turf Moor. We still need to go to Ellen Road. We need to go to the Riverside. We need to go to the Hawthorns. Where? But yeah, I think as much as the Leeds result was, disappointing to throw away a lead, I think the most encouraging part was Hoffball, was seeing it working, was seeing this exciting style of football actually come to fruition. You watch it and compare it to Wagner Ball. It's refreshing. It's encouraging. The forward passing, the speed of decision making, the pinging of passes, and the confidence that some of these players are exuding. You alluded to signs matching last season. This is literally what people talk about players coming into England, having their first season just to bed in. Now we have got, near to or getting near to the finished article with Borja Signs, which is a confident, tricky, and highly gifted attacking footballer. And the question mark was, a lot of goals in this team went over the summer with Rowe and Sarah. Who would fill that void? And no one was really looking at Signs because he wasn't that prolific. All of a sudden, it's so a hat trick against Derby and then one today. So it's four in three. You'd call it, but that's it's fantastic form. And again, talking about the international break coming at a frustrating time, it is a little bit. But like you said about Gunn being injured, hopefully you could just write that off and he starts right away. Depends on how many players are going away on international duty. It's an opportunity for us to build again. Obviously, we came out of an international break and lost to Swansea. Wasn't ideal. But there's an opportunity just to kind of look back over the games since the last break, look at where perhaps we're lacking still, and build on it. I think we've now got to a point where if you were to describe Norwich this season, are they full of goals? Are they defensively sound? Are they, a possession team? I think you can now say that they are, a decent goal scorers. We have got the joint highest goal scorer in the league now. It's obviously, like I said at the very start of the video, a clean sheet. First clean sheet at home this season. So it's going pretty well. Whether we can compete with the other teams in the league and whether we can get into the top six. I was thinking about this earlier. You don't want to be top of the championship in October. You don't. You want to time your run, which is what Norwich under Farker has done on 2 occasions. Started slow, built just before Christmas, just really ramping, and to coin the mountain, get to the peak. Yeah. Once you got to the peak at Christmas, all you got to do is just defend. Just defend your position and don't slip. Don't fall on a rock. Don't break your ankle. Just, once you've got the confidence, once you know, right, this is how we're playing, we are a good team. We're capable of doing it. Yeah. So I think being just outside the playoffs at this point in the season, it's encouraging. It's definitely encouraging.
Yeah.
I definitely think the teams above us will slip. Obviously, Sheffield United started the season fantastically well. Couldn't beat us though. Blackburn Rovers, in and around us, couldn't beat us either. And Oxford even, I think they're 10th or 11th, I think. So losing to them on the opening day when we hadn't really asserted our style of play, starting Christian Fastnack and Grant Hanley, it's a write-off by now. But yeah, can we get into the top 6? Absolutely. If we keep it up, it's now a question mark of whether we can keep it up. Will Hoffball start to go sour? Where will teams outwit us? What are our frailties that coaches will look at us and think, just like Hull with their, deep lying, position and their open space in behind. How do you pick out? How do you get through Norwich? I guess it's just pinging lots of balls into Shane Duffy and waiting for him to do something silly. Although he has been good in the last few games.
He has
we'll
been
give him credit, blah, blah, blah. We've had lots of comments whilst I've been ranting.
We have done, yes, yeah. One of them was to catch up. So sorry, but no, we always try and get to them in the end. So don't worry, we were always going to come on. So in the first few of quite a lot of the comments, our mate George here said at the start of the season we would get top 2. People laughed at me, but you never know. That's very true. Football's a game of unpredictability. You do never know. Will Norwich maybe be a top 2 side come the end of the season? It's a tough one to answer. I don't think so. I think there is definitely 2 teams in this league better than Norwich and who can sort of see out games and churn out results better than we can. So I don't think we will be in the top 2 based off what we've seen in the recent weeks. Of course, it's fine to think that because Norwich have been in great form, but I don't think that's going to happen. And then we've got some big statements as well from George here. Fisher is better than Max Aarons. Sainz is as good as Emi Buendia. Sergeant Sainz reminds me of the Emi and Pookie era. There's another message about that, which we'll touch on. Jose and Duffy look solid. I hope we can sign Doyle and Gordon on a permanent. Well, the only way we're going to do that is if we either win the playoffs or win the league and get a lot of money, because those 2 are not going to come cheap, especially Doyle. With how he's playing, he could be a £50 million player for all we know. So much potential at quite a big club in Manchester City. So that'll be difficult. Gordon as well will be very difficult. Young English, plays in the youth setup with Doyle and plays for Liverpool. So they're not going to let him go easy. We've already touched on Sam's point about the international break coming at a tough time. I will just put that back up for anyone who missed it, hoping we don't go into Stoke with a different attitude from the last 2. Yes, massively agree. Because it did seem that way when you touched on it, Jack, the last international break. Norwich were sublime against Coventry, churned out a 1-0 away win, a great performance. They went to Swansea and just barely had anything go their way. An own goal, Sainz missing some glorious chances. Just didn't work out for them. And another message from George here after his massive statement, which we will just leave here. A lot of big talking points, which I wish we had a bit more time to go on about, but it's getting close to bedtime now. It's 10:15, so we have to be reasonable. Yeah. And he also says, sign Slimane for the £1.4 million in the loan deal. I agree. With what I've seen of Anis Ben Slimane, I think he's a very talented player. It amazes me that he couldn't get a game for a team that conceded over 100 goals last season. Oh, William's here. William Grant. He's popped up. He's taken a break. He's in the Spoons toilet. WG here. We're actually black. up the notch, bin the Blues. Yes, that's the most sense you've spoken in weeks. Yeah, so no, I'm joking. No, oh come on, no, that's a harsh yellow. He's not technically said the word.
All right, you're on a warning, William. You're on a warning.
No, he's on a warning.
If you're not careful, you're not going to get custard with your pudding tomorrow. Every time we have a podcast, Will is late because he's having pudding, and we always do a sweepstake as to what we think Will's having.
He does love it.
Never bread and butter pudding. GXM do you say his name was George? Sorry,
his name is George. Yes. So this is George. His big point here, and then he also says we should sign Anis Ben Slimane, but I'll quickly get your thoughts on that, and then you can dissect that other message because there's a lot to talk about. And arguably, we've got to do it a little bit quickly. People, maybe it's nearly bed. Oh, Williams, but sorry, George. I have to go on back to Will. Can we ask Jack how many games he goes to in a season? There's another little thing in our WhatsApp group chat. Will loves to call Jack Tin Pot because with Jack, if you didn't know, you wouldn't. He is from Essex. He's not from Essex. He lives in Essex. So getting to Norwich games is very hard for him. I live in Brighton, so it's even harder for me. But Will he's a cheeky boy, and he just doesn't think you're that big of a fan.
Let me explain geography to you, William. Essex is very far away. There's an entire county between Essex and Norfolk, and it's full of other people who we love dearly. And we're going to be very respectful. Anyway, quickly on that. Yes, Rolls Royce, Mr. Slimline is fantastic. George, have you been on the sauce with Will? Are you en route? To Prince of Wales as well? Because maybe we can come back to this comment in May when we're watching the open top bus, and drinking Estrellas in the sunset. Fisher's doing all right. Yeah, as good as Max Aarons. Signs as good as Emmy. That is undoubtedly incorrect. Sargent reminds me of Emmy Pookie era. Lots of goals, lots of excitement. Jose Duffy looks solid. Yeah, that's true. Hope we can sign Doyle and Gordon. Absolutely not. We ain't got any money. William's chipping in again.
I'm laughing because that's such a big point. Will's put another comment in. For those who don't know, he is a member of the channel. I did a video with him in midweek. Oh, he's a cheeky bugger.
He's in a fighting mood, William. Definitely not getting any custard.
Oh, Sam's jumped on the bandwagon. Naughty boy.
Sam, no, Sam, naughty. No, don't listen to Will. He's a nasty boy. He's from Wroxham. Don't trust him.
He thinks we have the budget for armchairs. Look at look at our settings.
And on that note, if you would like to sponsor the MyFootballWriter YouTube channel, please let us know so that we can afford armchairs. We got one last comment. Sorry to butt in, Jack. We got one last comment here from Sam as well. Really been thank you all for your input. Sam's laughing away here at us being armchair fans, but no, really thank you for all your comments. This is probably the most interaction we've ever had, so a massive thank you to all who have stuck with us for over the hour and have been putting in comments. It really is appreciative, and we hope you've enjoyed it as much as we have sat here talking about Norwich and all of your comments. It really is really lovely to see, considering it is bit late at night. Maybe a few people are looking to get tucked in ready for Sunday roast tomorrow. So thank you really all for watching. We both can't really thank you enough. But another point from our mate Sam here. Pookie and Emmy was a delightful partnership, but this Sanson Sargent has got an extra special feeling to it, and I'm all for it. It's got a bit of spice to it, a little bit. And speaking of spice, we're back with a little bit of a spicy comment at the pair of us from Sam again. I think a GoFundMe page is needed for your transport to games. Yeah, if you do want to sponsor us, as Jack said, please do, and we'll put that money to use from getting me from Brighton. I believe it's about 30 quid return, but I can't fork that out every other week. Get that's Jack cheap. from Essex to Norfolk, and I think that's a little bit cheaper, but
hey ho, I don't have a driver's license either. That's far too expensive. Maybe that can go in the GoFundMe. Get us both driver's licenses, unless you've already got one.
No, I don't drive either.
Well, there you go. Get us some driving lessons. Sponsor us and get us driving lessons. But
buy me a car. Buy me a boat so that I can sail from the Thames to the Wensum. It's doable. It would take probably a day, but buy me a boat.
Yeah, no, please do. But anyway, for anyone who has watched the whole over an hour and almost 7 minutes, thank you ever so much. Thank you all for your comments, whether you're calling us an armchair fan. Sorry, let me get it up. My mouse pad's going nuts. If you even call us an armchair fan, or you think not paying £10 for a train ride is a little bit tin pot, maybe you think all of this and you have very strong opinions about Norwich City and all of their players and how well Norwich are doing at the moment. So to sum it all up, a brilliant 4-0 win. Sainz, Sargent, Nunez, Gordon, the four who smashed it against Hull City this afternoon. As our mate Sam says, on the ball City, a lovely yellow and green emoji in there from him as well. But there's been your lot. Norwich now don't play for 2 weeks where they have to play against a former assistant coach. Narcis Pelach will be the man in the opposition dugout, technically, at the Britannia Stadium when Norwich play Stoke City. It will be at 3 o'clock on a Saturday, finally. Football's back, but Norwich are also back. 10 points from the last 15? We couldn't, could we? Or could we? Let's wait and see and find out. I've been Freddie Humphrey-Wakefield. He has been the excellent, hilarious, brilliant Jack Wright as always. But even though Will's been a bit cheeky today and Henry's not here, unfortunately, they're just as good. Keep an eye out for the podcast. We'll hopefully have for you tomorrow after missing it last week due to just complete lack of availability. But anyway, as I've already said, I've been Freddie Humphrey-Wakefield. He's been Jack Wright. Thank you all for watching tonight on the MyFootballWriter YouTube channel. It is goodbye for now, and we'll see you in the next video of ours here on the MyFootballWriter YouTube channel.